What is going on, guys? It is your boy Inheritor, and welcome back to another replay analysis. This is going to be for Oreo for the ranked champ 1 in 1v1s. He wants to know if he's using shadow defense at the right moments. So, aside from that, I'll be doing a typical replay analysis, and I'll try to make sure to point out that whether you are or are not using shadow defense at the right times. All right, let's get into it. Nice bump. Good beat there. Not sure if you were trying to fake challenge there or if you were genuinely going to go and then decided against it. Good job trying to control that ball. Almost worked out. Thank you for not taking that up the wall. Take those. Got a slow kick off on you. Gotta be careful turning around in situations like this, or turning on situations like this. Corners are something that are not really something you want to be trying to challenge. Okay, air dribbling in ones or anything in the air is a really bad idea, because now look, he can grab that boost, you have zero, you're on there half the field. The fact that he took that much time kind of surprises me, but in a Grand Champ game, that would have been a goal. That was a good time to use shadow defense. I will say though, you just reacted a little slow. I mean, overall it was good though. The big thing about shadow defense is that you're predicting what your your opponent's gonna do, and right here, this is where you should already know. There's only one thing he can do. Well, there's two things he could do. He could try to fake it and let it roll on the ground, or he could do what he did, which is this. Either way, you would have more than likely gotten a touch on it just based off of how your car is right now. But you gotta make sure you're predicting what they're gonna do, and not necessarily pre-jump, but just make sure you're prepared to react a little faster. To be able to react a little faster. Nice kickoff. Tried to play that a little slower. Nice bump. I would have challenged that even with no boost. To try to, because they're super vulnerable right now. So even though you have no boost, you could have at least stalled, gotten a touch, and grabbed that mid boost. Yeah, see what I mean? You let them have control with your zero boost, and it ended up a goal. So if you turned here instead of turning around, you could have turned and challenged this, and at least gotten a 50 on the ball. Odds are it would have pinched to the right corner. You don't always want to play that aggressive, but it's good to switch it up to keep your opponent on their heels, I guess, instead of on their toes, whatever. You want to keep changing it up so they can't predict what you're going to do. is what I'm trying to say. Unfortunate kickoff goal. So with this kickoff, it's very inconsistent, and it takes some practice. But after this replay, I'll kind of quickly show you how I do mine versus what you're doing, and maybe that's something you can try to. That might help you anyway. Wasn't really worth going for a bump there. Of course, it worked out in your favor, but didn't really stop anything. You both had no boost. Make sure you're looking at your opponent when you're doing your kickoff best you can. I know the ball is blocking your way, but usually, well, once you practice this skill enough, you can typically tell whether or not they're going to be at the ball or if they're doing a slow kickoff. So in this case, I would have hit my brakes before I jumped, which would stop my momentum, but I'd still jump on time. That way, the slow kickoff pretty much doesn't work. You gotta be really careful when you do this. I would have gone to net instead of flipping towards the play, because in a Grand Champ game, this would have been an easy maneuver. They probably would have power slid to the right side of the ball and cut it to the left, and then just controlled it even better and put it right into the net. It's a very dangerous thing to do. Your shadow defense timing is good, however, you're really close to them, which is dangerous. You don't want to give them too much more space, but just generally speaking, for that part of when you first turned, you were very close. You needed a little more space. Throwing away ball possession here worked out, but in a Grand Champ game, they would have just went up the wall, hit it, kept ball possession on their end. Always best to try to control it by carrying it on your car, or just generally have the ball close to you. Demos are a dangerous thing to go for in ones. I mean, it works if you can get them, but if it doesn't work, odds are you're gonna get scored on. So just be careful with your demo attempts and when you choose to go for them. Nothing wrong with going for them. I'm just be careful. I mean, you did the best you could. You jumped on time. I would have double jumped instead of tried turning. You basically tried to turn your car here, and you only went for a single jump instead of a double jump. That's a hard read. Just got to be careful with how close you are. That's another one of those situations where you're really close on the shadow defense, and that makes things very vulnerable on your part. Good beat. Better kickoff that time. Demoed each other. In a situation like this, when you know you're gonna miss, you're better off not flipping at all and just stop boosting, because now you're instead of not being supersonic, now you're supersonic and you're flipping and you're on their half of the field with 0 boost. So, you know, just be a little more cautious with mistakes like that. Good job keeping your opponent in your sight. Good try on the flick. Okay, so kickoff. I'm not gonna really do like a tutorial on it unless you need me to. I actually have a fast kickoff tutorial. But what you're doing is like you're going in and then you're doing some sort of flip, like side flip. So I couldn't even do it. It's a little awkward, actually. I don't know, it's strange, but the way I typically gauge my kickoffs is I'll drive. With a longer car, I drive till the nose of my car is over it. With an Octane, for example, I drive until my car is in the middle of it. But I would, oh god. I'd do a diagonal flip. And I use some air roll, and that keeps me centered on the ball. See? It's not much air roll, I'm just like feathering it. You can see up on my overlay. My air roll is this button. And I do that on most of my kickoffs. That actually helps me stay where I need to be. So, that's something you can try if you want to. Just as a recommendation. So that being said, I hope this helps you out. The main things I noticed with your shadow defense specifically was just most of the time you were too close. Sometimes nothing happened that caused you in a goal, and then there were a couple times that you were too close and that's why you got scored on. So just remember to distance yourself a bit, but not too much, because if you distance yourself too much, they have all the space in the world. But if you're too close, they can do whatever they want, and they'll probably score. So you have to be very careful with shadow defense. It's a lot harder than it seems. So that being said, I hope this replay analysis helps you out. Good luck with your future games, man. See you out there on the field sometime. Deuces.